Most organizations are asking the wrong AI question. They're asking, what tool should we use? But the real question is, who owns the outcome? If you think AI is just another software implementation, if you think you can just buy a license and hand it to IT, you're about to make a very expensive mistake. Most companies think AI is a tool problem, but it's actually a leadership problem. Welcome to the Digital Dilemma. I'm your host, Nick Dreyfus, and we're here to help you make smart, grounded decisions in a world where technology is moving faster than your organization. We don't do hype here. We do frameworks. We do clarity, and we do confidence. Today, why AI readiness is not an IT project. Let's look at the landscape right now. AI adoption is exploding faster than governance can possibly keep up. Your employees are using it. Your competitors are definitely using it. And because of that speed, boards are asking those questions that executives are not able to answer clearly. There's a massive confusion right now between experimentation and actual strategy. Just because your marketing team is playing with ChatGPT does not mean you have an AI strategy. This leads us to the core misconception. Too many leaders are framing AI as a software decision. They look at their CIO, they look at their IT director and say, go figure this AI thing out. That is completely unfair to IT, and it's also dangerous for the business. Why? Because it controls the container, but they do not control the contents. IT can install the software, definitely, but they don't know how your business strategy needs to work. They do not know your risk tolerance. They do not know which client data is too sensitive to share. If you ask IT to figure it out, you're creating risk, not leverage. Let me give you a real-world example of what this looks like when it goes wrong. It's a story we've all seen before with just different technology. A few years ago, I was working with a mid-sized manufacturing company. CEO called me and said, Nick, our sales are flat. We need a new CRM. He was absolutely convinced that the problem was the software. He thought their old system was too clunky, so his sales team wasn't, and they weren't closing deals because of it. So what did he do? He wrote a huge check to Salesforce. Top of the line, he handed the project to the IT director and said, go get this installed by Q3. Well, that IT director did exactly what he was told. He migrated the data, he set up the accounts, he trained the staff on where to click. Technically, the project was a complete success. But 6 months later, sales were still flat. And now the sales team was revolting because the new system forced them to enter data fields they didn't understand. The CEO blamed IT. Why isn't this working? But the problem wasn't the software. The problem was their sales process. They had a compensation model that discouraged collaboration. They had no definition of what a qualified lead actually was. And they took a broken analog process and then they just digitized it. All the new software did was make their bad habits happen faster. We are seeing the exact same thing happen right now with AI. Executives are buying tools left and right, thinking they will fix the productivity issues. Your team doesn't know how to communicate clearly now? An AI chatbot isn't going to make them clear. It's just going to generate confusion emails at lightning speed. Technology amplifies your current reality. If your reality is messy, AI is just going to make it a little messier. Now, there's a specific warning I have to give you about the tools themselves, especially the free ones. Many leaders treat AI tools like they treat a web browser, just a benign window to the internet. But you need to treat them like a free email account. We all know the deal with free email. You don't pay monthly fees, but instead you pay with your data. They scan your messages. They build a profile. They package who you are and what you're likely to buy and they sell those all to those marketers. Using free AI public tools is exactly the same. When your employee pastes a confidential project outline into a free chatbot, they aren't just getting an answer, they're feeding the beast. They're training the model. They are handing over your intent to a third party. Remember the golden rule of the internet. If you're not paying for a product, you are the product. And for business executives, that is not a cost savings. That's a data leak. So knowing that, what's the real readiness gap? It's not about buying the tool. Then what is it about? It usually comes down to three things. Number one is data quality. If your data is scattered across 5 folders and 3 legacy systems, the AI has nothing to learn from. That is just garbage in, garbage out. It's a cliche for a reason. Number 2 is process ownership. You can't automate processes that you haven't clearly defined. You need to map out how work gets done before you ask a machine to help you do it. And number 3, decision rights. This is the big one. If AI makes a mistake, who's responsible? If a chatbot promises a discount to a customer that doesn't exist, who pays for it? Is it the vendor? Is it the IT guy? Well, absolutely not. It is the executive who signed off on the deployment. This brings us to the solution. Guardrails. When I say guardrails, most leaders hear red tape. They think I mean slowing things down, but I want to reframe that. Guardrails actually make you go faster. Think about a highway. You can drive 70 miles an hour because there are lines on the road and guardrails on curves. If you took those away, you'd just drive 20 miles an hour because you'd be terrified that you could make a mistake and it could be even worse with cars coming the opposite way. I recently worked with a financial services firm. States lots of regulation. Their employees were paralyzed. They wanted to use AI to draft reports, but they were terrified of getting fired for leaking data. So nobody did anything. The innovation, it was at completely zero. We didn't come in and install a fancy firewall. We came in and built a traffic light policy. It was incredibly simple. We literally put it on a 1-page PDF. Green light data. This was public info. Marketing brochures, website copy, generic industry trends. The rule was you can put this into ChatGPT, go crazy, and absolutely innovate. Now, there was yellow light data. Internal memos, meeting notes. The rule was you can use AI to summarize this, but you must anonymize names first. Red light data. This one's the clearest of all. This would be social security numbers, bank accounts, model numbers, things like that. If you put this into an AI model, you're going to be terminated. You know what happened? Usage exploded. Once the team knew where the electric fence was, they stopped being scared. They started using AI for all the green light tasks immediately. They saved hours on drafting marketing copy and summarizing generic reports. They moved faster because leadership gave them the permission to be safe. That didn't require a software update. It required a decision. So let's get practical. AI readiness is not about the tech stack. It's about the decision stack. If you want to test your readiness, here are 3 questions to ask tomorrow. If you're a CEO, ask, who owns AI decisions here? And if the answer is the IT guy, you've already got a problem. You need a business sponsor. If you're a CFO, ask, where does AI touch our risk and compliance? If nobody knows that answer, stop everything until you find out. Now, if you're a board member, ask, what assumptions are we making about our data? Because if you assume your data is clean, I promise you're wrong. Here's the reality to close on. The specific AI tools we talk about today might change by the next quarter. The models will get faster. The vendors will pitch harder. But the responsibility for those tools to impact your business, that doesn't change. That stays with you. And if you're waiting for the IT department to hand you a business strategy, you aren't just stalling, you're abdicating. This conversation sparked a specific question for you or it highlighted a gap in your current planning. Do me a favor. Share this episode with one other person on your leadership team and start that debate before crisis hits. We're going to be diving deeper into this in the next few weeks' episodes. We'll look at a tactical side of governance and what questions your board should actually be asking you. So make sure to subscribe, and you do not want to miss any of those. I am Nick Dreyfus. Thanks for listening to The Digital Dilemma. Have a great day, everybody.